Okay, so we've hit that time of the year where not the playoffs, the regular season is finally ending, which is starting the playoffs, which we have the bracket. The bracket is locked in, it is official. We have the 12 teams who make it, and now it's on to the playoffs. But obviously, since my channel is known for doing this already, why don't we take Madden to the test and go ahead and simulate this bracket of 12 teams? So I'm going to pull up the 12 teams we have. Here is the bracket right here, which is the official bracket of real life too, also not just Madden, but we're going to be simulating it like I said. So let me go and read it out real quick. Okay, so starting with the NFC side, obviously we have the byes. Number 1 bye, 49ers. Then we have the Packers at 2. So then on the wild cards, we have the 4 Eagles versus the 5 Seahawks, and the 3 Saints versus the 6 Vikings. Heading over to the AFC, we got the number 1 Ravens and the number 2 Chiefs. Then we got the number 4 Texans and number 5 Bills, and the 3 Patriots and 6 Titans. So that's what we'll be doing in today's video. We're going to be simulating the real playoffs, and we're going to see what Madden has to say about the playoffs, which is going to be happening January 4th to February 2nd, I believe. So let's go and get started real quick, and we'll start with the AFC, Texans versus Bills. Okay, so at NRG Stadium, the Texans will finally get past the first round. Not a first round exit this time. Deshaun Watson taking the final knee, or not, just to let the time run out. There it is, Texans 27, Bills 17. They will move on to play either the 1 or 2 seed, not determined yet. So let's move on to the Titans and Patriots. Okay, here we are in Foxborough. 1-score game, Titans are trailing, 1 minute 20 left. Ryan Tannehill almost throws a pick to a big man. 3 touchdowns and 300 yards for Ryan Tannehill. Good start for a game, and a wild card at least. So it's 2nd and 10 with 1 minute and 20 left. 35-28. It is a 1 touchdown game plus extra point. Ryan Tannehill has to go about 75 yards. Gonna hand it up to Derrick Henry. Gets about 3 or 4, and they have to call a timeout. That one is now a crucial 3rd down and 8. Ryan Tannehill looking for a pass, and it gets sacked. Minute trails, 1 timeout left. They're going to just let it sit. 4th and 14. Titans could be the final play. They only rushed 4 with 5 on the line, and somehow one dude got past. No huddle. Less than a minute left. 14 yards to go. Plenty extra if you get past this. Tannehill gets some time. He's just going to throw it deep to a pick. And the Patriots will seal the deal with no other than McCourtney bringing down the pick. So Tom's going to take this knee. It's most likely going to be the game with 1 second left, actually. Well, no, it's going to go down. So the Patriots move past. And into Arrowhead they go. So move on to the NFC. Okay, so it's 2nd and 3. The Eagles lining up in their own red zone, looking to score a touchdown, and then trusting their defense to get the job done, to move on. Carson Wentz looking for 5 yards, and 5 yards only. Going to hand the ball off. Will get stopped about 2 yards short, and the Seahawks will call their first timeout. Plenty of game left to be played, though, in a snowy Philadelphia. 23-all. 3rd down. Crucial 3rd down for the Eagles and the Seahawks. This could be big. Could be game-changing. So Carson Wentz lining up around the 10-yard line. Going to hand the ball off again. Gets the first down. Gets the touchdown. Eagles are up 29-23. Kick the extra point good. And it's a 1 touchdown game. Russell Wilson looking to pass. Marshawn Lynch is back. Russell Wilson's going to get sacked on the first play. A 2nd and 14. The Eagles defense already 1 play out there on the last drive of the game is coming up clutch. Russell Wilson was looking for an opening to escape. It collapsed quickly. 50 seconds left now. No huddle. 2 timeouts left for the Seahawks, though. He's going to look for a short route, and they're going to have to call a timeout or let time tick in the Seahawks with bad ball movement. Call a timeout on a 3rd and 7. 2 plays in, not looking too good. They've gotten 3 yards and have wasted about 30 seconds off the clock. Russell Wilson's going to have to work something here if they show him a chance. Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch sitting in the backfield. Russell Wilson looking to pass. The Pocket's almost about to collapse. Russell Wilson takes off. Gonna get up to the 50. 55-yard line. What a big gain for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has 36 yards on the ground today. Pocket almost collapsed. Got out there just in time. With 23 seconds left, Seahawks are letting time tick. They've already used their last timeout right now. And it looks like the Seahawks are going to run the exact same play 3 times in a row. Just going to lob it deep in the end zone. Throw it out again. And it throws a pick. And that will seal the deal. The Eagles might return it for a pick 6. Russell Wilson will stop them as time ticks down to 1 second. Eagles will win 30-23. They're moving on. And time for the results of the Saints-Vikings, which will determine where the Eagles will be placed. Moving on. With almost around 50 yards to go because they need a field goal to tie. If they want to win, they can go all the distance. I just got in time. Hopefully I got in, but the Vikings faked a field goal with like 5 yards to the end zone. So they could have just, obviously they could have run an actual play on 4th down, or they could have just taken the points, making it 38-32. But now they give Drew Brees a little bigger cushion to actually put some points up. So Drew Brees looking to start off with a pass for around 8 or 9 yards to Jared Cook. The Saints are working with no timeouts left, had to burn about 20 seconds on that one play. Not the ideal way to go down, but Drew Brees lining up again in the pockets. Looking for the pass, gets a good slant, and gets about 6 or 7 yards out of it. However, time continues to tick. Got to line up quick. Get a play off. A minute is about to be left. I'm surprised the Vikings were able to keep up this well with the Saints, considering the Saints are the best team in Madden right now, the 90 overall. And how about this rematch? The last time these two teams played, you probably remember what happened. Yeah, Minneapolis Miracle. Drew Brees all by himself looking for another short pass. I don't know why they're not doing these out routes to get out of bounds, because now, 44 seconds left, and I'm pretty sure they're looking for a field goal, which makes sense now. They're up to around midfield. 10 more yards would make it more comfortable. Their kicker is pretty decent, but obviously you don't want to give them a 50-yard field goal every time. Oh, actually, they're not even close yet. They still have about 20 yards to go with 25 seconds left. Drew Brees is going to get a dot around the 47-yard line and finally get out of bounds. It is Michael Thomas, 84 yards on the day. 7 reps. And 24 seconds. These Vikings defense needs to clutch up here. Stop them from getting any more yards. Will make it so much tougher for that field goal. About 10-ish yards away from the field goal line. Drew Brees looking for a short route to his tight end Cook. Gonna burn a little bit more time. Can they run one more play, or they have to take the field goal now? Wasn't the best option to throw an inbound play right there. Let's see what they do here. Oh, with 8 seconds left. They don't have a timeout. They have to line up the field goal. They're going to run a play. The Saints can't get it off in time. The Saints lose. Unbelievable. They can't line up in time for a field goal. And the Saints fall to the Vikings again. And the Saints just can never catch a break in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins winning 35-32. And it's impossible. The Vikings, the number 6 seed, are moving on to play the 49ers. And the Eagles are moving on to play the Packers. Unbelievable. The Saints, with a horrible ball movement, runs all the clock down. So no time can be left to take a tying field goal. That is absurd. Saints fall early. That's crazy. Okay, so we just finished with Wild Card Weekend. And one thing I gotta say is the Vikings. How about the Vikings? The only, well, I mean, I guess you could say the Eagles upsetted the Seahawks, but the only really big upset was the number 6 Vikings versus the number 3 Saints. Saints fall again in every which way possible. You name it, Saints are the unluckiest team in playoff history. Vikings are moving on to play the 49ers, and Eagles are moving on to play the Packers. And then on the AFC, we have the Texans versus the Ravens, and the Patriots versus the Chiefs. So here it is, moving on to divisional. Let's get started with the Ravens and Texans. Well, I was short on getting a clip. What? Final score 38-35. Ravens with Lamar Jackson just were kneeling down in victory formation. I'm not really surprised considering the Texans are not really the strongest team when it comes to the playoffs. But the number one Ravens are moving on to the conference to play the winner of the Patriots and Chiefs. Let's go. And here we are in Arrowhead. This time, the Patriots will not be successful as they're going to lose to the Chiefs with 2-score game. Chiefs are looking just to nail this clock out by nailing the field goal at the end. Here comes the kick. The kick is going up. And it is a 30-17 game with absolutely no time left on the clock except 1 second, which is nothing because it is already a 13-point game, which means the Chiefs finally beat the Patriots in the playoffs, and the Chiefs are moving on to no other than the conference finals to play the Ravens. Let's go to the NFC now. Well, the Vikings playoff run gets completely shut down by the 49ers, who's really just showing them who owns the NFC, with the 49ers winning 31-10. Vikings did not stand a chance from the first play of the game, and that was clear to see. So now it's moving on to the Eagles and Packers game. Packers have lost to the Eagles and 49ers, so let's see if they can somehow get the revenge on both the teams, if they win out somehow. Moving on to the final game, and if it's anything the NFC has learned is do not mess with the playoff Eagles, as nobody is safe when it comes to the Eagles in playoff time. They might go 9-7 in the regular season, but when they hit the playoffs, they're going to the conference finals. Time 6 down, the Packers get stunned, a bye seed, losing by 2 possessions. Eagles win 30-16. That's crazy. Eagles, like I said, don't mess with them. They're moving on to play the 49ers to see who moves in the Super Bowl. Can they repeat history like they did 2017 or 2018, whatever year it was? Let's find out next. Moving on to the bracket results, and then we'll hit the AFC, then the NFC, and then on to the Super Bowl. Okay, so that finishes the divisional. Now moving on to the conference, the final 4 teams. In the AFC, we have the number 1 Ravens and the number 2 Chiefs. Pretty bland. But moving on to the NFC, the number 1 team made it, which was the 49ers. But the Eagles, the worst team in the playoffs by record, not by seeding. The number 4 seed, 9-7 Eagles, are moving on to the conference finals after beating the Seahawks and Packers. And moving on to play the 49ers. So, starting with the AFC, Ravens, Chiefs. Let's go and get right into this. And the Ravens are moving on to the Super Bowl, knocking out the Chiefs with a final score of, I don't know yet, but Mark Ingram with 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, and waiting for the score. Here it is, 37-27. Lamar Jackson puts the helmet down and moves on to the Super Bowl to play the winner of the 49ers and Eagles. So, we could see a 1 seed versus 1 seed, or we could even see a 1 seed versus 4 seed. Let's find out right now. And I'm not too surprised here after the Eagles are losing by 4 touchdowns with only 30 seconds left. Final score, 38-10. It could change, but we all know it's going to be winning, and we all know it's going to the Super Bowl. The number 1 49ers versus the number 1 Ravens. This is basically the most basic matchup since ever in a Super Bowl. But I mean, I'm fine with it. It's going to be a fun one. And let's go and jump right into the Super Bowl and the bracket results. Okay, so not much to say going into the Super Bowl. The number 1 team on both the AFC and the NFC both made it. The number 1 Ravens, the number 1 49ers. Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's go. And with this right here, Lamar Jackson, around the 45-yard line, takes a knee, 4th and 6, 15 seconds left on the clock. Ravens up 34-27. Will be the end of Super Bowl 54, according to Madden. With that being said, the Baltimore Ravens are your Madden Simulation Super Bowl champions. As they, after this unnecessary punt for whatever reason. And here comes the punt. Unless he somehow returns it, nope, will not happen. And just like that, the Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl champions. 34-27 final score. Not really surprised. I thought the Ravens would win it anyways. They're the top runners. They basically have a 50% chance to win the Super Bowl. And yeah, so that concludes what Madden thinks is going to happen. So, there we have it. Okay, so that's it of this video. And today is the 31st of December. So moving on to the next year. Hope you guys have a good, happy new year. And yeah, I will see you next year. Corny dad joke for you.